Well, greetings, pinball fans, and welcome to another episode of Alpha Bravo Pinball. We're here in the Alpha Bravo garage. Today on the episode, we're going to install these Stern art blades. If you're not familiar, these are upgrades that go on the inside of your cabinet along the sidewalls, which from the factory on most games are just black, but this gives you a nice visual upgrade. Is a nice aftermarket add-on that is not too expensive. Note, I am a big fan of the Stern product. There's a bunch of companies that make these. There's some aftermarket choices out there. It's great to have choices, but what I have found through experiences, some of the other products are not nearly as durable. When you raise and lower your playfield, you risk scratching these art blades as they're right up against the edge of the playfield. The Stern, OEM art blades are made of a very durable material that is very scratch resistant. That's not to say it's not possible to scratch them, but they hold up very, very well. I've been very pleased with them in the past. I have them on many of my games. The installation can be not so trivial. If you've never done it before, it can be a little scary, but I'm going to show you my technique for doing it single-handedly. If you have two people, it's also possible to remove the playfield altogether, and then you have very easy access to the sides, the insides of the cabinet to do the install. However, unless you're way stronger than I am, removing the playfield is typically a two-person job, as the playfield is very heavy, awkward to hold. I'm going to show you my technique for doing it just by yourself. One thing I'd like to point out before we get started is when you receive your art blades in the mail, they will probably come to you in a cardboard tube. You may find that it's easier to install them if you first lay them flat on your game for a while and just let them flatten out a little bit. Alrighty, so here we go. When you raise your playfield, you will probably be looking at something that looks a little bit like this. If you notice carefully on the edges between the cabinets on both sides, there's a very small gap. And while it may not look like much, actually it's enough that you have a little bit of wiggle room with the playfield. As you can see, I can pull it tight to one side and then open up a bigger gap on the other side. Or I can push it the other way and do the opposite, have a bigger gap on the other side. We're going to use this to our advantage to install the art blades. I'm going to start with one side, the side with the larger gap, do that side, and then move the playfield, slide it the other way, boom, and then do the other side. It's just enough room that we have enough space to work with. All right, the other thing to consider is how to deal with the cabinet front to back. We're going to need to do some maneuvering to be able to get half of the side art installed and then the other half. So my technique is going to be moving the bottom of the playfield on the playfield slide. You'll see that you have quite a bit of room to work with, moving it back. Now here's the thing. The further back you move it, the more unstable and dangerous the playfield position is in. If you push it all the way back, it's going to want to fall back down onto the playfield. That would be very painful and very not good for you, for your health, and for the game. And so before I go any further, I just want to pause here to make a safety note. Never do this. Never leave the playfield in a precarious position where it could fall. You always want to leave things in a stable configuration, especially when your concentration is on what's going on around here with the art blade installation. You can very easily forget there's a big heavy playfield full of metal sharp things that could come crashing down on you at any moment. So if you take nothing else away from this video, remember that you want to leave the playfield in a position where it's not going to fall. How am I going to do that? I'm going to use cargo straps. All right, for this next part, what we need is some scissors and some painter's tape. And we're going to go ahead and start installing the art blade. What we're going to do, I'm just going to tuck it in the gap here, slide it on back, and test fit, figure out alignment. There is a bolt up here The art blade typically gets very, very close to that front bolt. The other way to align it is at the back of the art blade there is a circle cutout for the side hinge bolt. And so you want to kind of, you can't see it, there's not enough room really to look back there, but you can kind of go by feel and align the back bolt with that circle cutout, and you want to get it right up against the top of the wood below the plastic channel in which the glass slides. Once you feel like you have it in a decent position, that's where you're going to try to get your painter's tape and tape it into position. So obviously with only two hands it's going to fall like that, but what you can do is get some strips of tape ready. It's not going to hurt your cabinet. So I like to have some strips of tape hanging off the edge like this that are just ready to go once I have it aligned exactly like the way I want it. Okay, so now that I have some tape, I can go ahead and do final alignment. All right, that looks pretty good, and then I just need to fold the tape over. Make sure the art blade is lying as flat as possible. There you go. Actually, I need to move it a little bit backwards. In prior games, I had the art blade much closer to this bolt here, but on this one, to align the bolt at the back, it needs to be a little bit further back. So I don't know if they're making micro changes to the art blades, the alignment on the cabinet or whatnot. Make sure you check it on your game before you go ahead and install it. That feels pretty good. Okay. All right, now that the front is installed, I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the back. Alrighty, now that I have this side done, I'm going to scoot the playfield over and do the same thing on the other side. Here's the hole that I'm talking about here. You actually want to punch this out before installing them. What you can't see is I'm actually feeling behind the playfield over on that other side of the playfield here. I'm feeling with my hand for the bolt hole. You really want the decal to lie as flat as possible. If you've got any wrinkles, just go ahead and peel back. The nice thing is the material on the stern art blade is so nice you don't have to worry about any damage peeling back the painter's tape. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that alignment. I'll just put a few pieces in the back. All right, my piece is stable with the alignment I'm happy with. Time to move on to the next phase. All right, this next step is the most crucial. At this point, it's really important, of course, that your side art is aligned the way you want it, but the critical thing is to make sure that the back is taped up very strongly. I'll show you a photo of what mine looks like here. The reason is it's now time to start removing the backing paper. The way we're going to approach this is do the front half first and then the back half. You'll see how I do it as I slide the playfield like I was showing before. So we're going to start by sliding the playfield as far away back as possible. Of course, refer to the previous safety note. Make sure that you've got it braced so that it's not going to fall on you when you're working, after which we're going to remove the front half of the backing paper. All right, so I have the playfield slid back on the rail here all the way at the back, and the playfield is secured with the cargo strap, so I can give it a nice tug test. It's not going anywhere. And now I can start removing tape. Okay, your goal now is to remove the backing paper as far back as you can go. So you don't need this tape at all, just go ahead and remove it altogether. So the back is taped, which means I should be able to do this, like this, and it should fall back exactly into position. You want to be very gentle with it, of course, to not tear that tape. But we're going to cut the backing paper as far back as we can, and then install it permanently on the front half, which means after that, when we slide the playfield forward on this rail back to the forward position, the backing paper will be behind the playfield, at which point we can do the back half, remove the backing paper on the back half. So I'm going to go ahead and peel back the backing paper, starting from the front. See what that looks like. And then don't worry too much about the material. You want to be nice to it, but it's pretty tough stuff. So I want to separate it as best I can and then run my scissors. Bad idea to put the tape down in the bottom of the cabinet. I'll run my scissors down as far as I can. Godzilla's a little tough here because of this giant building mech, which is not there on most games. But what I'm going to do is run my scissors down as close to the playfield as I can, obviously cutting only the backing paper, not cutting the art blade itself. And snip. All right, so I've got the backing paper gone. Now we can do final assembly of the front half of the art blade here. So you want to try to pull it so that it's tight, both top and bottom. You don't want any wrinkles, top or bottom. You'll just know when it's flat. Get it as close as possible without touching to do final alignment. And then I like to do, starting from the back, gently press it down. Again, you constantly want to be pulling up and down just very gently to make sure that your top to bottom alignment is good. And look at that, just like that. No bubbles, no wrinkles. It's perfect. I find this material to be extremely easy to work with compared to other vinyl that I've used in the past. I've put some vinyl numbers on my car, for instance, and it's very, very easy to get bubbles, which are a huge pain to get out. I find with this, you don't need to do a wet method, you don't need a squeegee, you don't need anything. I'm feeling the whole way down here, and there's just not a single bubble in the whole thing. Alignment looks really good. We're in good shape. Now we're going to do the same thing to the front half of the other side. Alrighty, same thing on this side. We're going to start by removing the tape on the front half. I've got my scissors at the ready. This side is going to be a little bit easier here because I don't have this giant building mechanism quite as close. I can peel that back almost to within an inch or two of where the playfield is resting. So let's go ahead and peel the backing paper. Okay. Alrighty, I've got that backing paper peeled pretty much all the way back to the playfield. See if I can find a good resting spot for that there. The fact that that stern material is so easy to work with makes this not so bad. No, I'm not sponsored by Stern. I wish they were paying me money for this video. Okay, there goes the scissors, backing paper, gone. All right, so same deal, we're gonna try to pull it so that it is taut and no wrinkles top or bottom. Get it close, check your alignment. And when you're good to go, start pushing down from the back towards the front. I'm a little closer to the glass that I would like, but it should be fine. Actually, let's try to move it down a little bit. So now I'm going to have to fight the tape to get it down a little bit here, but I just don't want the decal itself touching the glass. So you definitely want it lower than the glass channel. All right. See, not so bad. Now I'm definitely below the plastic channel where the glass lies, and still no bubbles. See, I mean, really not that bad. I was able to remove it and put it back down again. All good. Again, no bubbles. All good. Alrighty, on to the next step. The sun is going down, but we're almost done, folks. At this point, we are ready to slide the playfield back forwards and then remove the backing paper on the back half on each side. Let's do it. All right, folks, so this part is a little tricky to film, so bear with me. I'm actually having to reach back here behind the playfield to peel back the tape. I got it. One more piece. I think that's all. So now we should be able to peel this back here, as you can see. And this is where it gets a little tricky. You may need, with your other hand, to kind of gently move the playfield back. But you should be able to reach in there to the point where the backing paper, where you made your cut on the backing paper, and wedge it just with one hand. Remove that backing paper. Let it fall to the base of the cabinet. Alrighty. And now, it's actually not even half and half. It's more like you do the front 2/3 and then the back 1/3. And the material is stiff enough that even just with one hand here, I'm able to place it flat, holding the playfield. There we go. We're just about over the hole Not perfect, but enough to get access to the bolt there. And I can reach in and feel for any bubbles and flatten them down as needed, but yeah, this material is so easy to work with, it's pretty good. There you go. And we'll do the other side. Alrighty, so same thing on this side. We'll start by removing the tape. All right, same operation. We'll tilt it over a little bit and with one hand reach back there for that backing paper and start to peel it with one hand. Okay, and here we go. We got the bolt aligned a little better on this one. As long as you can access the bolt and you're happy with how it looks, personally I call that good enough. No bubbles, nice and flat, all good. And that's that, folks. I think at this point we're done. Let's put the playfield down and take a look at our work. Well, that's it for today, folks. We've got our arc blades installed and they look great. I think this is a worthwhile upgrade that's moderately priced. Hope you learned something today for the installation process for them. It is possible to do it with just one person. Please just be careful whenever the playfield is in the raised position. It could fall on you and that would make for a very bad day indeed. With that, thank you very much for watching and hope you stay tuned for the next episode of Alpha Bravo Pinball. Good night, everyone.